Morning guys, coming at you with another vlog. Started at the shed, as you can see. Started work at 3:50 a.m. Was milking herd 1. Now it's 5:45, just got back home. Hopefully Julia's up and can make me scrambled eggs and a coffee. Going away for the weekend, which I wanted to record a bit, do another vlog. So we're going to Napoleon Hill, which is this like old mine 4-wheel drive track, so you can drive through tunnels and stuff, which will be awesome. And then just spending the night over on the west coast. So we'll run you through that today. It's nice to start at the shed. It's pretty peaceful. The sun's not even up yet. It's actually pretty light for 5:45, but you start in the dark. Definitely nice. So yeah, just gonna clean up, get ready, prep the surf, and yeah, hit the road. Right, just did some morning prayer with my wife. Just gonna sit down quickly and wrap up some admin for the weekend. So I've already scheduled my reels ahead of time for the weekend. Although Joe said that sometimes scheduling limits the reach, so I'm gonna have to look into that or be careful of it, because yesterday's, which was scheduled, didn't do that well. But yeah, just gonna send a few texts, reply to a few people, finish uploading my video from yesterday, which was about video games. I posted on YouTube, but I haven't posted to Spotify yet. So just wrapping up a few loose ends. We'll pack up the setup and then start loading up the surf. I still need to eat brekkie as well, but Julia's onto that now. Got the surf backed in here. Gonna load up the 12-volt fridge, all my tools, couple recovery things, and yeah, pretty much warm her up and pull her out of the garage. G'day guys, just coming at you with this video on a beautiful Tuesday morning. Gonna be doing a bit of a voiceover on this vlog, as obviously a lot of the footage was driving, so I thought I'd give you some of my thoughts on the trip, a few reflections. This isn't going to be a super serious video, and editing takes heaps of time, so you might have to skip through a few parts of it, but if you listen to this instead of brain rot Instagram doom scrolling, then you're probably going to get something out of it. So hopefully you enjoy. So yeah, obviously last weekend finally took some time for me and the wife, and we did a weekend trip. This place, Napoleon Hill, has been in my scope for a while. So I own obviously this Hilux Surf, which is a 1997 vehicle, similar to the Toyota Hilux. It's a 4-wheel drive, but it's obviously more of a Land Cruiser because it's a wagon, and it's got the same chassis and suspension and whatnot as the Land Cruiser Prado. We made it to Reefton. It's about 2 hours from home towards the west coast, which is pretty cool. It was actually raining heaps on the drive, but it's a bit clearer here and not raining. There's a bit more daylight as well. It was dark driving through the forest and the hills. So yeah, we're about 45 minutes away from Napoleon Hill, which is our destination. So pretty excited to get there. Surf has been doing well, very comfortable. A pretty cool truck, and one of the things that I guess I'm thinking about during this trip, and I think about this vehicle in general and doing trips like this, is that your car is like your horse, or your 4-wheel drive is like your horse. You know, back in the day, the horse would have been with you alongside all your adventures. And, you know, it would be cool to own a horse one day, but... Right, so we're at the homestead, and we've got the map here. We've got 2 or 3 hours through Napoleon Hill. We've got some tunnels up the top. It's going to be pretty epic. The 4-wheel drive is kind of the modern reinvention of that, in the sense that, or the car, where it's a companion to all your adventures. If you look after it, it will look after you. You spend a lot of time with it. You do maintenance on it. You can do upgrades with it and stuff. But I mean, think of most of our big life events and things that happen to us. Most often they're done with a car, you know, whether you're going to mass, whether you're driving to your wedding. I know Raf's been the bridal vehicle for 2 weddings now. Yeah, you might be driving to a big life event. You might be doing some big road trips. We've done many of them with Raf over the New Year's, driving up to Hearts of Flame. You know, a good vehicle is a companion in some ways. Obviously, it's still like a material thing, but when material things have such a strong and constant presence in our lives, I think it's a good thing to pay attention to them. Because you don't want to get to the point where you just completely view the thing as a tool. I think there's something to be said for appreciating. Just stopping for a little lunch break. We've just come down off a massive ridge line and crawled all the way down like that. I'm going to continue the descent. After we've had a feed. Some hash browns on, the burgers, and there will be some fried eggs to top it all off too. Material things for the goods that they can provide you and for the beauty which they hold within themselves. I'm not advocating for attachment, but there is something genuinely good and beautiful about a well-built, functional vehicle that's aesthetically appealing and performs that function well. It takes you on adventures and you spend time with it and you have conversations in it. I think that's a good and beautiful thing. I think for cars especially as well, if you are kind of a person who enjoys working on cars, it's a great way to learn about, tools, how engines work, how suspension works. It's a very, what's the word? Kinetic hobby. You learn to work with your hands. You spend hours trying to get just one little nut off, so it teaches you perseverance. Like, there's a lot of little things and virtues and things that you can pick up while working on a vehicle, which you don't really get elsewhere. I mean, if you work a manual job like building or farming, you definitely get that within the job. But like, I imagine if you're a city guy or maybe you're not exposed to heaps of physical things, the car can be a really good outlet and way for you to sort of channel that really practical side of our manliness. So yeah, obviously I enjoy driving it. It's a manual as well. So we got to Napoleon Hill. It's obviously a hill on the west coast, and I'm not sure if it was used for mining, but the west coast has a lot of mining and logging. But basically you drive up this hill on this ridge line, there's heaps of puddles. It's not winter, it's obviously summer, but there were still some pretty deep puddles. And then you go down the other side of the mountain and you land on a creek. So you basically drive down this creek, which is pretty awesome because you've got it's like a little corridor, like a natural corridor with ferns and flora and fauna all around you, and there's waterfalls. The air is very moist. It's just this very immersive experience. You can hear the sound of the water and you feel like you're completely outside civilization. Like, it's just you and your car and you're driving in the middle of the wilderness, which is just awesome. Like, I just love it. It's such a cool way to explore. Like, obviously you've got hiking, but this is like another cool way to do it too. But anyway, we basically got to a point where there was this log that was falling over the track. Now, unfortunately, I hadn't brought any chainsaw, but luckily I'd put the axe in the boot and I needed it. So I don't know when the last time the track was driven, but there was this tree over top of the track. So I basically hacked it in one spot. And then I tried winching it out of the way, but it didn't quite work because I guess part of the roots would have still been attached. Anyway, I tried to drive through it, didn't work, so I had to cut it more towards the base of the tree, so I had to axe it in two spots, something I hadn't actually done before. I've never axed a log or a tree, like, completely to make a complete cut in it, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, just squeezed through the gap that I made and then continued down. And then we got to the tunnels, which I guess they're naturally formed tunnels because the creek runs through them, but that was pretty cool as well. I mean, how often do you get to do that? And then you basically follow the creek all the way down till it joins up to the main river, which is the Waipuna River. And then you drive pretty much through the river. It's like you're a boat because you're just from shore to shore. In some spots it was all water, so you're just driving in the middle of this river for about 20 minutes till you finally hit the road and then come up on the other side. So that's that was a very awesome little detour. I mean, it still took like 3 hours because we had lunch in the middle and then obviously had to chop that log down, which was pretty cool. And then we continued to our final destination where we were going to spend the night, which is Greymouth. So Greymouth is the biggest town on the west coast. I mean, that being said, it's still pretty small with a population of about 8,500. So we stayed there the night. Greymouth itself isn't the most aesthetically appealing town. Like, it was quite interesting driving in the rest of the way to the coast because Greymouth is right on the coast. But it was obviously, well, that whole area had very big logging and mining operations. Now, I think there is still some mining going on there, but much less than what it used to be back in the day. So a lot of these small towns that you drive past on the way to Greymouth or just on the side of the road, you'll see like a lot of old abandoned buildings, or if there is people living in the town, some of the sidewalk will be mowed, some other parts will be overgrown, everything's chipped because it's the west coast. It's very moist there. There's a lot of rainfall, so things will just get overgrown. Even going into Greymouth, like it's not, well, it's a very grey town. The river mouth is grey itself, but even the buildings are sort of fading and decayed. The center of the township is nice. It looks normal, but the moment you sort of go to the suburbs or see like the residential houses, they're not very nice looking. Like, it just seems like a very poor area. Probably. Not a lot of money in the community, but I think it sort of really led me to think on how important that environment is, or how much that environment can affect you. I mean, obviously we all make what we can of the cards that are dealt with us, and often we don't have the luxury of choice, but just looking physically and aesthetically at that town, it wasn't like a very nice place. Like, it's not a place that leads you to strive for greatness, really. Um, Same with the weather. Like, all of these things affect us and affect our mindset, I think, way more than we initially assume. I think it's very important to spend time, whether that be with just your bedroom or your house or the place you live, but making places aesthetically beautiful where your physical environment and surroundings actually lead you to the transcendental goods, that actually lead you to virtue, that actually inspire you to be better. Like, that's where art, and icons and all of these things come into play. But our interaction with the physical world and with physical beauty is essential to our flourishing. So I think that's sort of one lesson that I learned just while walking around the town and thinking about these things. But yeah, all in all, it was a really good trip. Despite Greymouth obviously not being the greatest town, we still had really good weather and we were able to drive around and explore. Obviously, Napoleon Hill was amazing. But yeah, it was great to have some time off. I try to take one day off a week, but often between the farm or if I'm posting reels and stuff, it can often feel like I'm working nonstop, which I enjoy. I find a lot of meaning in my work, and it's all very good. But it's definitely, ideally, I wouldn't ever work Sundays, but it's a bit of a luxury being a dairy farmer. Ideally, you would have one day off, but I guess the privilege and the ability we had to take a bit more of an intentional weekend to get away was definitely appreciated.